Elizabeth Hale is a serial entrepreneur and has over 25 years experience as a CPA. Her firm serves over 400 clients across the U.S. and she is here today to help you become a financial ninja. Hi, I'm Emily LaRouche. Are you ready to make the journey from lawyer to entrepreneur? Every week I'm sitting down with people who have mastered the art of running a business and want to share with you the lessons they've learned along the way. Join me as we experience the highs, the lows, and everything in between as we learn, share, and grow together. Welcome to Share the Love. Thank you so much for being here. I've been through 3 CPAs, and so the reason I asked Elizabeth to come on today is she is my keeper CPA. She's the one I want to keep for life. And before we get started, I wanted to find out a little bit about your first business because we actually have something in common. Tell me about your first entrepreneurial endeavor when you were 8.
Oh, I actually started a business selling Christmas cards door to door.
So when I was 6, I started a business creating bookmarks and selling them door to door, and I did a little child slave labor and listed my cousins to sell the bookmarks and create them, and then I thought I should get the lion's share of the money because it was all my idea. But so that was my 6-year-old entrepreneurial endeavor as well.
Oh, that's so cool. I never knew that about you.
It was so funny. And so selling door to door, like once you've done that, you can do anything in life, right?
Yes, after you have the doors closed. There are many more that open.
That's awesome. And so I mentioned before I've had 3 CPAs. And it was hard to get my CPA in the past on the phone. And one of them, I was sitting in the office and someone kind of barged in and was like, I'm not leaving here until you help me. I've called you, and that was a red flag for me. And I ignored it because I'm thinking, that's them. Surely that's not the kind of service I'm going to get. And it was the firm. So what I found is that you get what you pay for. And when it comes to your money, it is worth having the best financial planner on your side. Your firm has pushed me for more of a partnership than anything I'd experienced before. You guys just did a budget for me and helped me plan. So what are some things that business owners should expect from their CPA besides taxes?
Well, a lot of it is just that planning and that just the consultation. So like if you're going to enter into a new line of business, if you're going to start a new marketing campaign, if you're going to start anything new, which entrepreneurs are starting something new by the minute, then sometimes on the larger financial decisions or the more strategic decisions, it's really great to just to have someone to call to get a second opinion, or to have someone independent that can who's not in the weeds with you every day, just to have that look. I really believe in service myself. I have a personal trainer, I have a mentor, I am a mentor, and just having that extra set of it's support for you to think, are you thinking about this logically? Are you super excited? Do you have the money for it? Where can you get the money for it? How can we decide, how can we get more money for you to do it? Does it seem feasible? What are the profits going to be from it? How much, how much do you really need to make it work?
And I feel like since we've started using eeCPA, that now I feel like I almost have a CFO within my business, that I have someone to go to. And when I first came in, the first meeting, they said, we want you to call us anytime you have financial questions. And I'm thinking, sure you do. But if I didn't call you, your team's calling me and saying, how can we help? And it's been weird, like greatly weird though, in a really good, great way. So just recently I'm like, well, I've been scratching my head trying to figure out my customer acquisition costs. Can you help me with that? Yes, we can. It's awesome.
Yeah, so we really love it. That's what drives me, and I think it drives our entire team. We're really committed to making your business better for you. So we want to help you, we want to reach out, we want to stay connected with you because we want to have that kind of relationship or connection so that we feel like we are having a positive impact on you, and that kind of drives us to keep going and wake up every morning and come in.
Would you say if somebody has a CPA and their CPA is not collaborating on the regular and helping to create financial goals and to track things that maybe it might not be a good fit, or that there's more out there?
Yeah, there is just more out there. There's a lot of form fillers. There's a lot of great tax prep people that will take the numbers that you give them, not verify whether they're right or wrong, just take them and put them into little boxes on forms and file your taxes for you. But that really isn't adding any value to you, because really they're just taking things. What we're trying to offer is like, okay, rather than just, first of all, is this information accurate? I have so many people come in and it's a horror story. Like they just found out that their bookkeeper was embezzling, or they don't understand why they're not making any money, because they don't have a very good system. They have a great system for sales typically, but not such a great system for accounting on the back end. Which says a lot about entrepreneurs. I don't think that they're money driven as much as really, truly trying to solve problems in the world. But on the flip side, we do have to pay attention to money so they can continue their mission of their business. And so that's where I think having somebody critically analyze and look at what you have going on and develop some systems to prevent embezzlement or losses. And then also on the flip side, to give you time to get that true meaning, because then you understand what you're doing and the business can just be exponentially grown as a result.
Right.
Because you have more positive feeling, you know what direction you're going in, you know that you're going to have some money in the bank at the end of the day, and so that relieves a lot off your plate, and then you can do what you do best, which is grow your business.
Absolutely. And this is a little embarrassing, but I'll admit it. 3 years into business, and this is the first time, just towards the latter part of year 3, that I started looking at my balance sheet and my cash flow statement. I haven't looked at that at all on a regular basis until now. So now I actually understand it.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm glad. It is a huge challenge. And when you start out, I mean, when I started a pest control company when I was in college. And it's very exciting stuff, getting rid of the bugs for everyone. But very lucrative, actually, in the market that we were in. But we started it, and I truly didn't know. I was just a student and just really focused on, okay, revenue, expenses, and not realizing like cash flow and everything else until, one time the paychecks all bounced, and then I had to go around and like take money out of my own personal, go to the bank. It was very embarrassing. I think I was like 19. Then I had to go make amends with each employee, which there were about 10 of those, and it was extremely demoralizing experience. And then I realized, I really do have to have a better system for this.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. And I am a huge fan of Greg Crabtree, and I know you know Greg. I just reread Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits. And so in the book, he says 10% is the new break even. What do you think about that for a professional services firm like attorneys?
For attorneys, I think we can. I think 10% is the new profit number, but I really think there's a lot of ways to get to 20. So I guess I disagree with him on that. I think there's some strategies that can be employed, especially with the billing and collections piece. I think there's a lot of ways that attorneys can remarket their services, especially for business support attorneys where you're constantly on call rather than billing by the hour. I think they can work off of more of a subscription-based model, and I think they can be a hell of a lot more profitable and a lot less headaches at the end of the year.
Awesome. We had an attorney on a few episodes who said the same thing. I'm done with the billable hour. It's a nightmare. We're going to do some new models. And so it sounds like, if you're not looking at your P&L and hitting that 10% or 20%, which 10% would be like your bare minimum, then something's got to change, right?
Right. Definitely. And I think, in this workplace, people are, there is like mass volume. So I think if you too want to drive from 10 to 20, you need to be really concentrated and niche focused on what kind of clients you're choosing up front. So sometimes it's easy to you're getting a lot of calls, but you need to be careful on who particularly you're dealing with to get the maximum result for them so that you're also going to get the maximum benefit from working with them as well.
I so agree with that. We answer phones for some attorneys who will take on a consultation for anything within their wheelhouse, and they spend hours doing consultations, but you'll also hear vendors calling because they haven't been paid. And I think that maybe too much time is being spent taking everyone instead of really focusing on who the best client is for you.
Right, and the best client that you can do the best possible work, because then you leave feeling more fulfilled at the end of the day. The engagements are usually more successful, more profitable, and then you can have a lot more volume of sales calls rather than dunning letters.
Those are never fun.
No.
One of my favorite client stories was we had a client who said, someone called up and they said, I'm an employee, I'm standing outside, you come unlock the door right now and let us in. I want my paycheck and I'm not leaving till I get it. And we call it breaking cover when we have to say, okay, got us. We're the answering service. They actually hired us for the purpose of trying to deflect these calls and ended up leaving us holding the bag as well. So we were also an employee who got stuck holding the bag. But when those kind of things happen, it's like, no, you've got to know your numbers.
Yes, you have to know your numbers. And really, a lot of times, it's just tweaking one or two things. Or a lot of times, with my experience with law offices, is that billing is a problem. You don't bill, you bill late, you hem and haw over it, and you just don't collect the money, and then you can't pay your vendors, and then you're burning your bridges around the town.
So maybe work with your CPA to find out how can I shorten the sales cycle and get our cash sooner from our clients.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of different strategies out there, and they really depend a lot on what drives you so that you'll actually follow through on the system that is designed for you.
Awesome. We are almost at the end of the year, so what are a couple things that we can do to try and max out our tax savings before the end of the year?
Well, if the Trump proposal goes through, then you are going to be able to have a lot of options, especially if you're considering expanding, buying new equipment, doing any leasehold improvements on your space. Those are all going to be able to be immediately expensed under the new law. And then you definitely do not want to leave this year end with a loss. So you probably, if you have some expenses that will create a net operating loss, you probably want to push those expenses into next year. There are some new limitations on, you will not be able to carry back net operating losses anymore under the new law, and you will be able to take advantage of taking those expenses next year. Another thing is, there's so many tax law changes that are proposed with these new bills that you really should be calculating, it really does matter to calculate it out, because the tax rates are different depending on how much money you're taking out of the business. A lot of attorneys are set up as S-corps or as partnerships, and we may want to relook at that structure with the new drop in C-corp tax rates. So those are kind of our biggest things. And then at the end of the year, you're going to want to consider all the people. You want to probably pay everyone you know. If you don't employ them, if you have children under 5, for example, that don't offer a huge lot of value to your business, then you can each at least gift everyone $600 check. Tax-free to them, tax-free or tax deductible for you.
Does it have to be $5.99 or can it be?
It can be $600.
Okay, right at $600, not a penny more.
Not a penny more.
If you're ready to experience what a phenomenal CPA firm is all about, click on the links below to get in touch with Elizabeth's team at eeCPA, and they're offering $100 off an initial consultation when you mention the Back Office Betty Share the Love podcast. I have a couple rapid fire questions for you. First thing that comes to mind, the best word to describe you is?
Persistent.
Oh, good one. Your favorite place to vacation?
Cabo.
Oh, nice. And when you aren't working, you are?
Reading.
Working. Reading about working?
Reading.
Okay. And what is your guilty pleasure TV show or movie?
Criminal Minds.
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you so much for being here, Elizabeth. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Share the Love. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play to get the latest content.